Welcome back to What the Venture. We are Scott and Amber. Last summer, we flew out to Kelowna, BC to pick up our 1979 Westphalia. We loaded it up and we hauled it back to Southern Ontario, where we are now restoring it to its former glory. We hope that you will join us on our van build journey. Hey everybody, back at it again. We are What the Venture, and I'm Scott. This is Amber.
Hi.
And today we are doing a first on our channel. We are doing a tutorial, a how to apply fiberglass and how to apply Bondo over top on your rig.
So before we get started today, we wanted to say hello to all the new subscribers. Thanks for coming over and joining us on our journey. And a special thank you to Justin and Christina's RV VANLife channel. They hosted us on Monday on a live interview and we had a lot of fun. If you haven't yet, go check out their channel. And you can also see our live interview if you'd like to. So without further ado, let's get into today's video.
Woo!
Okay, so on today's video, we are first repairing this hole right here. It's pretty big, so I'm going to show you how to fix it with fiberglass, Bondo, and eventually you can patch up that hole and it will look nice and smooth and nobody will be able to tell it's even there.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. So the materials you'll need for this project are fiberglass resin. This comes with a hardener, such as this, that you add to the fiberglass resin, which you then coat this with. And this will become hard and act as a nice patch for your bodywork. You also need a lot of gloves because you do not want to get this on your hands. It is sticky, it is hard to get off, and it's really not that good for you.
It says right there.
It's toxic. So wear gloves, as you can see. So that's it for step one. For step two, you will need Bondo. This is body filler. This is the one we use. There are different kinds, but it also comes with a hardener. So that is for step two. Step three, you're going to want to sand a lot. So you're going to need something like this. This is called a belt sander. It works really well. You can also do it the manual way and use tons and tons and tons of sandpaper. By doing it the manual way, it does take a lot longer and you risk having different kind of waves in your Bondo work. So the best thing that you can do is use a belt sander. It makes the job a lot easier and it ensures that everything's smooth and it doesn't have waves from your palm. I started by using this and I don't know, it just is terrible. In the middle of sanding, this will lose connection and then it will just fly. And also you do also run the risk of creating waves in your Bondo work. But before you can get started with all those materials, you need to do a little bit of cleaning with this guy. And as you can see, we've used it a lot. So here's a picture of what it actually looks like. Bing! Yeah, that's what it used to look like. So this does a lot of handy work. It will strip everything around the hole because you want to get this to bare metal. And you want to get this to bare metal so that the fiberglass resin actually sticks to it and it holds correctly. Because if it doesn't, eventually it's going to peel off and it's going to look very messy. So you want to do it right the first time. So let's get started. So during our cleanup process, we did uncover some holes. For the previous owner, I guess there was some fiberglass work done here. And I took it back. And just take it back as far as you can, and that will help ensure that it sticks. And you want to do about like a half an inch to an inch away from the hole that you're patching. So I've uncovered another little hole, and I do want you guys to keep in mind that you can patch onto fiberglass. If you want to stop digging around it because you think that the work there is good and it seems sturdy, you can. So you can add fiberglass to fiberglass. Oh my God, there's a wasp.
No, get out of there!
Oh my God. Van build problems. If you leave your van build going for too long, you're going to get wasps. I think that this looks good enough to patch. But you just need to make sure that it's clean. You really want to wipe it down or use an air compressor to get all the sand off so that the fiberglass resin has a chance to stick on a clean surface.
Get a closer look at that.
So now we get to move on to step 1, finally. That was step 0, by the way.
That's prep work.
That's prep work. So it's all prepped as good as I could get it without going too deep into it. Because there is fiberglass work done over here, I'm going to stop while I'm ahead because I do believe that this is solid. Let's move on to step 1. So it's really important to wear a mask when you're dealing with fiberglass because, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of shards coming off of it. You can see it twinkling in the light?
Oh yeah, you can see a little bit.
Yeah. You don't want to breathe that in, so make sure you wear a mask and gloves, and it's going to get all over you, so make sure you shower after. Alright, so I already cut my fiberglass pieces, as you can see. The reason I cut them like this size is because you really want to do like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the hole. So just make it that much bigger than your hole so it has something to stick onto. So yeah, I cut my fiberglass pieces. The reason why there's 2 is because you double patch it so that it remains like it has a thickness to it, so it's stronger. It will hold for longer. You generally do 2 patches, but for bigger stuff you can do more. So getting into the first step, you use your fiberglass resin. So the portion is like 8 to 10 drops per an ounce, and the only way I know an ounce is if I'm pouring a shot. So I'm gonna try and pour 2 shots because I just really want to lather this up nicely, and if I do 2, it will get both of them wet. You have to soak them individually first. So I'm going to do 2 shots of fiberglass resin. Oh God. Okay. And then, because I did 2 shots, the portion was 8 to 10 drops per ounce.
8 to 10 drops of what?
The hardener.
The hardener.
8 to 10 drops of hardener. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
There, that should be good.
So I did like 19 drops there, I think. And then what you want to do is you want to have something already lined up to mix it, because if you don't, it's going to harden. So I'm going to use this.
Oh God.
It's empty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is already empty. It was from an old Bondo can that I already had. You got to use what you have, you know, guys? So you mix this up really, really well. Get that hardener in there really well. And you want to use it fast because it will harden on you. So you want to get this stuff on quickly and efficiently. So make sure you have all your tools together before you start. Okay, next step, you want to put a little bit of resin on your gloves, just like that. And you want to soak the metal around it, or the fiberglass, like I mentioned before. You can do it on fiberglass. So you want to soak it before you put anything on, just so it holds better, and you can then flatten the fiberglass, which I'll demonstrate right now. So you soak the fiberglass in the resin, like so. It's very messy. Don't get discouraged. I do all the time, so yeah. It will drip everywhere, just as so. And then you stick it on there. And the goal is to make sure there's no air bubbles and that everything's on nice and smoothly and everything's wet. So you can take your resin, dip your fingers in it, and apply onto spots that didn't get exactly moist while you were dipping it, sorry. So as you can see, it's a little messy. I am not a professional.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. I am not a professional, but this is how you do it. And as you can see, since I used 2 ounces, I still have a little bit left for my second patch. So you do the same thing. You dip this patch in the hardener, in the resin, sorry, and You place it on just like the first one, right on top of the first one too. It will make it really strong. Just like that. Yes, it's so messy and it's so frustrating, but I promise you, you will get the hang of it. So you do want to make this as flat as possible because it will make your job easier when you go ahead and put the Bondo on, which is the next step. Well, sorry, the step before the Bondo is sanding. You have to sand it down. You can feather out the edges in order for it to be smooth with the body, which is the ultimate goal, as we all know. So yeah, you just want to make sure there's no gaps. And don't worry if there are. If they're really small, you can actually just fill them with Bondo. It is a body filler. So there you go. That's first step done. Now all you have to do, sorry, my mask is too big for my face. All you have to do is let it dry. So that takes approximately 30 to 45 minutes, I believe. So have a coffee. Just kidding. Did I say half an hour to 45 minutes? I meant an hour and a half to 2 hours. So have a couple coffees.
Now we wait. So as many of you know, our van life build did not start out like most. We have to rebuild this VW vintage van from scratch, and we are using mostly fiberglass and Bondo to get it all done. Quick tip, you don't need fiberglass for every single hole. If it's roughly the size of a nail, then you'll be okay. The Bondo will fill it just nicely. However, anything a little bit bigger than that, you'll want to put some fiberglass behind it. That'll just help give it some strength so that the Bondo can adhere to something and not just fill a hole. We use this technique to help build our fender, to help cover the holes where the tire mount used to be. We rebuilt this entire step, all the way up to here. We covered up the factory holes that the kitchenette used to be attached to. So following these steps, you should be able to get your vintage van to look just like new. Well, almost.
This fiberglass patch is completely hardened now, as you can see. It's perfectly hardened. So the next step would usually be to sand it, but in this particular spot, it's a little hard to get the belt sander in there, and also it is at the right height that we want for the Bondo work. So usually you would flatten it more so that you don't have to build up as much Bondo, but since we only did 2 layers, it is quite flat already. So for the next step, it is Bondo. So what you're going to need for this is a little squeegee. You can buy these at Canadian Tire or Home Hardware. They usually come in packs or single ones. You'll also need some cardboard. This is what the Bondo is going to go on, where you're going to mix it and be able to apply it onto your surface. So as you can see, we have already used this, but all you do is you peel off the old Bondo so that this part is smooth, so when you apply it, it won't be bumpy and leave streaks in the Bondo. So the portion size for this is a golf ball size, and you do half an inch of hardener with it, and that should be enough for this job. But if you need to, you can double up the size. You can really make as much as you want, but this stuff hardens quickly, so it's best to do smaller portions for the job and then do multiple times if it's a big job. So you take about a size of a golf ball and you put it on the cardboard like so. It's really messy, so make sure you wear gloves. Okay, so next you put on your hardener. So you put about that much on, and that really should be enough. If you put too much, it will actually harden a lot quicker, and you probably will waste a lot doing it like that. So try to not use too much, and the way you mix it is you keep flattening it, because if you mix it sporadically, not with a squeegee like so, then it will create air pockets, and then when you're applying it, all these air pockets will make little pinholes. So you'll have to keep applying the Bondo because you'll just keep getting pinholes. So you just mix it like this, make it very even in color, make sure there's no streaks, And when there's no streaks, it's time to apply.
Go.
Okay, so once it's all mixed properly, it's all one solid color, you grab some of your Bondo, and all you do is you just apply it on, just like that. And you have to make sure that you're applying some pressure so it fills all the holes that you want it to fill. And you also don't want to add too much or else you'll be sanding forever. So you just go like that. It's a messy job and don't expect you'll get it on the first try because it's difficult. See, you just fill all those holes just like so. And the Bondo jobs, usually they're done in multiple layers. Just to correct any imperfections and just to really get the shape that you want with it. And the best thing to do is to feather out your Bondo, which means at the end you press really hard so that the end is feathered and it goes flush with the vehicle like so. And as you can see, I used a little too much Bondo, so I'm just going to cover a bigger surface. A surface that did need attention anyway. And you just keep practicing, because eventually you'll be a pro. And you can tell all your buddies that you're a pro. As you can see, like, there's waviness over here. That's going to need more Bondo. Same with a little bit right here. It's just going to need a little bit of a buildup, just so it looks smooth, like a brand new vehicle. So that is the last step. After you apply it, it takes about 30 minutes to dry. And then it's not fully cured, I don't think, at 30 minutes, but it's sandable at 30 minutes. And if you are to sand it at 30 minutes, it's actually easier to sand and you're going to save yourself a lot of work. So you do that, and on a spot like this, you'll probably want to do hand sanding just because it's a smaller spot and there's more tedious areas that you don't really want to bring the Bondo down too much on. And yeah, so you're not going to get much waviness if you do use your hand here because it's very minimal what is done here. But once that's dry, you sand it and you reapply to all the spots that you can still see that aren't perfect. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining our first how-to video. You saw us today, we fiberglass patched it, we applied Bondo. But if you would like a more in-depth video displaying like how we're sanding and how you bring down the Bondo in order to prime it, just let us know in the comments below and we will be sure to make a video for you regarding that. And as always, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that notification bell to receive notifications every time we post a new video.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into our new season. Please like and subscribe, and make sure to hit that bell so you receive notifications for when we upload our videos Wednesday and Sunday. Thanks for watching. If you liked our video and would like to support us, go to whattheventure.ca. Here you will find our custom van life inspired designs available for purchase. Remember, ventures belong to the adventurous.